A true story. The stepmother kicked the 8-year-old girl out of the house in the middle of the night. Before we begin the story, please leave a comment letting us know where you're watching from. Enjoy the story. This isn't just a story. This is the night a little girl named Amanda lost everything. She was only 8 years old. And she was about to begin a 120-day journey, barefoot, alone, and heartbroken. Amanda lived in a big white house in Atlanta, Georgia, with her stepmother, Pamela Reed. Her parents had disappeared a year ago after a strange incident at the airport. Since then, Pamela had taken full control of the house, the money, and Amanda's life. It was late, almost midnight. Amanda was in the kitchen, standing on a stool, washing a glass cup by herself. Nobody helped her anymore. She just wanted to feel like a grown-up. Pamela was nearby, scrolling through her phone and mumbling to herself. She had just seen a social media post from an old college friend, showing off a new house in Florida. Pamela's face twisted in jealousy. She probably slept her way into that house, Pamela muttered. Then it happened. She turned too fast, and her elbow knocked over a tall glass vase, her favorite one. It crashed to the floor and shattered. Amanda froze. Pamela turned around, eyes full of fire. "You broke my vase," Pamela shouted. Amanda shook her head. "I didn't touch it. I was just washing." "Oh, really? So it just fell on its own? Or maybe your ghost of a mother pushed it?" Pamela snapped. Amanda backed away, scared. Pamela picked up a sharp piece of broken glass and pointed it at Amanda. "You want to ruin me like your mother did? Get out of my house!" Amanda stared at her in shock. Pamela opened the front door, grabbed Amanda's arm, and shoved her outside. It was cold. Amanda was barefoot. She wore only a t-shirt and shorts. In her hands, she held a plastic trash bag with her teddy bear inside. Pamela tossed the bag after her and slammed the door. And just like that, Amanda was alone, in the middle of the night, with nowhere to go. She sat on the front step for a minute, holding her teddy bear tight. Then she looked up and saw airplane lights blinking far away in the sky. She remembered what her dad used to say, "If you ever get lost, just follow the planes." The airport never lies. So she stood up. She took a deep breath, and she started walking, barefoot, toward the airport. She didn't know how far it was. She didn't know if anyone would help her. But she had hope. And that's how the journey began. One step, one stone. One day closer to the truth. Amanda had never walked so far in her life. Her feet were small, her legs were tired. But she kept going. It was still dark outside. Streetlights buzzed. Dogs barked from behind fences. A few cars passed her by, but nobody stopped. Nobody cared. By sunrise, Amanda had made it 5 blocks from her old house. Her feet were already red and sore. She didn't cry. She just walked. At a bus stop, she found a small rock on the ground. She picked it up and dropped it into her plastic bag, next to her teddy bear. "One day, one stone," she whispered. It became her way of counting time, a secret game of survival. She walked through neighborhoods, parking lots, and past gas stations. Sometimes people looked at her, but most looked away. On day 2, Amanda sat behind a grocery store, hugging her knees. Her stomach growled. She hadn't eaten since the morning before Pamela threw her out. She saw a man eating a sandwich nearby. He threw the last piece into a trash can. Amanda waited until he walked away. Then she got up, opened the trash can, and took it. She brushed off the dirt and ate it slowly. On day 3, it rained. Amanda hid under a bus stop shelter. She was soaked, shivering and cold, still barefoot, still walking. She picked up another stone. On day 5, she passed a group of teenagers. They laughed when they saw her dirty feet and messy hair. "Homeless Barbie," one girl whispered. Amanda didn't say anything. She just kept walking. Each day her body got weaker, but her heart, it stayed strong. On day 7, a woman at a fruit stand saw Amanda staring at a bunch of bananas. The woman frowned and waved her off. "Go away. You'll scare my customers." Amanda walked away slowly. A little boy saw her and whispered to his mom, "She looks like she's from the movies." His mom pulled him away. By day 10, Amanda's dress had changed color, from pink to gray. Dust, sweat, and rain had turned it into something else. Her hair was tangled. Her lips were dry. She still carried the plastic bag, now with 10 stones inside. Each stone reminded her she was still alive, still moving, still closer to the airport. On day 13, Amanda saw an old woman selling hot dogs on the street. The smell made her dizzy. She stood nearby, just breathing in the scent. The woman yelled, "No money, no food, go stand somewhere else." Amanda backed away. But she didn't leave. She just sat on a curb nearby and closed her eyes. Later that night, she curled up beside a dumpster behind a clothing store. The pavement was hard. Her arms became her pillow. She hugged the plastic bag and whispered to her teddy bear, "We're okay. We're okay." The next morning, day 14, she woke up with mosquito bites and stiff legs. A man walked by and said, "Why do they let kids like this wander the street? Where are the parents?" Amanda didn't answer. She just picked up a small pebble near the sidewalk and added it to her bag. By day 15, Amanda had made it to the edge of downtown Atlanta. The buildings were bigger now. The traffic was louder. She saw planes flying overhead, and she smiled. They were still far, but they were real. Her journey was just beginning, but already she had walked farther than anyone believed she could. 15 stones. 15 nights, and a promise in her heart that she would keep going until the truth was found. Amanda kept walking. Each day her feet grew tougher. The soles were now cracked and bruised. Her toes were swollen, and her legs ached like she had walked across the entire world. But still, she didn't stop. She counted each day with a stone. By day 20, she had 20 stones in her bag, each one a silent witness to her journey. On day 21, something happened. A boy about her age saw her walking past a playground. He called out, "Hey, why don't you wear shoes?" Amanda didn't answer. Another kid laughed. "She probably lives in the trash." The adults nearby heard them, but said nothing. They just kept talking like Amanda was invisible. Later that day, she sat beside a vending machine outside a laundromat. She didn't want money. She just wanted to smell the clean laundry. It reminded her of her mom. The way her mom folded clothes and made everything smell like vanilla and sunshine. But that memory only made her heart heavier. On day 23, Amanda found half a sandwich by a bench. It was cold and had a bite taken out of it. She ate it anyway. She didn't even think twice. "Hunger doesn't wait for pride," she whispered to herself. By day 26, her legs were covered in mosquito bites. Her skin was turning darker, not from sunburn, but from dirt. She hadn't seen a bathroom mirror in weeks, and her voice? She didn't use it much anymore. There was no one to talk to. But on day 27, kindness showed up. Amanda was sitting outside a small diner, smelling the food from inside. A woman in a nurse's uniform stepped out with a takeout bag. She looked down at Amanda and paused. "You hungry?" she asked. Amanda nodded. The woman handed her the bag. Inside was a cheeseburger, a few fries, and a bottle of water. Amanda looked up, eyes wide. She didn't say thank you with her mouth. She said it with her tears. She walked behind the diner and ate slowly, like it was treasure. After she finished, she found a smooth white stone under a tree. She held it to her chest, kissed it gently, and placed it in her bag. That one was special. On day 30, something terrible happened. Amanda was walking near a grocery store when she saw a woman drop a dollar bill. She ran over to pick it up and returned it. The woman looked at her and sneered, "Ugh, don't touch my money with those hands." Amanda stepped back, her heart stinging. The woman wiped the bill with a tissue, tossed the tissue at Amanda's feet, and walked away. Amanda picked up the tissue and threw it in the trash. Not because the woman asked, because she still believed in doing what was right. On day 33, Amanda tried asking for help. She walked up to a woman selling fruit and whispered, "Do you have any food that's old or dropped?" The woman stared at her for a long second, then shook her head. "Go away. You'll chase my real customers." Amanda turned to leave, but just then, a little girl holding her mom's hand noticed her. She pulled something from her tiny backpack, a granola bar, and held it out. Amanda smiled. "Thank you." The girl's mom didn't stop her. She just nodded and said softly, "God bless you." Amanda walked around the corner and sat beside a mailbox to eat it. Then she picked up another stone and added it to her growing collection. By day 39, Amanda had started limping. She had stepped on something sharp a few nights before and wrapped her foot with a piece of her old t-shirt. No bandages, no medicine. Just survival. On day 42, she walked by a department store. Inside, a mannequin wore a white dress and sparkly shoes. Amanda stared at the shoes for a long time. That night, she dreamed she was wearing them, walking into a big house, and her mom and dad were standing there, waiting for her. She woke up crying. And on day 45, she met a girl who changed her whole day. Amanda was resting near a park bench. A girl about 12 walked by with her mom, carrying shopping bags. The girl stopped and stared at Amanda's bare feet. She whispered something to her mom. Then the girl walked up, opened a plastic bag, and handed Amanda a pair of pink sandals. "I don't wear these anymore, but they're still good," she said. Amanda blinked. The girl smiled. "Try them on." Amanda slid her feet in slowly. They fit perfectly. Amanda stood up, hugged the girl tightly and whispered, "Thank you." Then she picked up a small heart-shaped stone under the bench and dropped it into her bag. Now she had 45 stones. 45 days, 45 stories, and still, she walked. Amanda's legs were thinner now. Her arms looked like sticks. Her face had lost its glow. But her will to survive? Still burning. She had walked for 90 days. 90 stones now rested in the plastic bag she carried, like it held her whole story. Each one marked a day, a scar, a reason to keep going. She was close now, very close. Planes flew overhead every few minutes. Big ones, loud ones. Amanda looked up at each one like it might be carrying her past or her future. Billboards pointed toward the airport. She started seeing more people with suitcases, more buses marked terminal. But the world hadn't grown any kinder. A delivery van drove through a puddle and splashed dirty water all over her. Someone laughed and said, "Free shower." Amanda just wiped her face and kept walking. Teenagers outside a fast food place laughed when they saw her. One of them shouted, "Is that a person or a street ghost?" Amanda didn't answer. She didn't even look up. She just picked up another stone from the sidewalk and added it to her bag. That bag wasn't filled with food or money, but with proof. Proof that she had survived. The next day, she helped a woman who dropped a tray of oranges outside a small shop. Amanda bent down and picked them up quietly. The woman looked at her, surprised. "You're not mad?" she asked. Amanda smiled faintly and said, "Not yet." The woman chuckled and handed her one orange. Amanda held it like a gift from heaven. She peeled it slowly and let the juice run down her chin. It was her first fruit in weeks. On the 90th morning, Amanda finally reached the airport gate. Her pink sandals, faded, dusty, and worn, slapped the concrete as she walked. The fence was tall, silver, and cold. People pushed luggage carts and took selfies by the glass doors. Amanda walked up to the entrance with her heart pounding. She clutched her bag tightly. 2 security guards stood by the gate. One of them looked down at her and asked, "Who are you here for?" "I'm here for my dad," she said softly. "I walked 90 days to get here." The other guard raised an eyebrow. "Little girl, this isn't a fairy tale. You can't just walk into an airport." Amanda took a step forward. "Please, I've come so far." "Go back," the first guard said sharply. "You smell. You look like you've been sleeping in a ditch. Go clean yourself first." Amanda's eyes filled with tears. "I have to go in. He's in there. I know he is." But they didn't listen. One guard raised his voice. The other reached for his radio. Then they pulled out a baton, not to hurt her, just to scare her. It worked. Amanda ran, her plastic bag bouncing against her side. She found a small spot behind a wall near the parking lot and sat down. She wrapped her arms around her knees and cried. She had come so far, only to be told she wasn't clean enough, wasn't good enough. She stayed there for hours, watching people come and go. Families with kids, businessmen in suits, women in sunglasses. Some stared, some whispered. Who let that one in? She must be lost. She looks crazy. Amanda heard it all, but said nothing. Then, as the sun began to set, a man noticed her. He looked again, walked over slowly. "Hey, are you okay?" Amanda didn't lift her head. She just whispered, "I want to go in." "In where?" She pointed. "The airport." "They said I can't because I'm dirty." Something about the way she said it made the man stop. "What's your name?" "Amanda." He paused, then said, "Okay, Amanda, let's fix that." He brought her to a motel just outside the airport. Paid for a room, asked the woman at the front desk to help her, give her a hot shower, clean clothes, food, anything she needed. Amanda cleaned up quietly. When she came out, her skin was soft, her hair was brushed. She wore a simple yellow dress and a new pair of slippers. But she still held her plastic bag, like it carried her whole world. The man smiled. "There you are." Amanda smiled back. Then he said, "Let's go. I'll help you get in." Her heart started racing. 90 days. 90 stones. And now, finally, she was ready to step inside. Amanda stood in front of the airport once again. This time she was clean. Her hair was brushed. Her dress was simple but bright, and her pink slippers didn't hurt her feet like before. She looked like a different girl, but she still held the same old plastic bag, heavy with 90 stones and 1 teddy bear. The man beside her, kind, quiet, and patient, nodded at the security guards. They stared at Amanda in disbelief. "Is that the same girl from yesterday?" one whispered. "She looks normal now." Amanda said nothing. She stepped forward, but just before she reached the door, she froze. Across the road, sitting on the sidewalk near a bus stop, was a man. He was barefoot. His clothes were torn. His eyes were wild. Something about him stopped Amanda cold. Her heart started racing. Without warning, she turned and ran toward him. The man who had helped her called out, "Amanda, where are you going?" But she didn't answer. She ran straight to the homeless man and dropped to her knees in front of him. He didn't look up. He was muttering to himself, eyes lost in space. Amanda reached into her bag, took out the teddy bear, and held it out. "Dad," she said softly. "Is it you?" The man flinched. He looked at her, slowly, like it hurt to lift his head. Amanda looked into his eyes. They were tired. Broken, but something inside them looked familiar. "My name is Amanda," she said. "Amanda Thompson. I walked here to find you." The man beside her gasped. "You're Thompson's daughter." The homeless man blinked. "Thompson," he whispered. "That name." He grabbed his head and cried out, "My head! My head!" Amanda backed up, startled. The other man moved quickly to steady him. "Easy, it's okay. You're safe." But the homeless man kept repeating, "Amanda Thompson. Airport." Then silence. He looked up again. Tears filled his eyes. And for the first time, in a long, long time, he smiled. "Amanda." Amanda burst into tears. She dropped the bag and wrapped her arms around him. "It's you. It's really you." The man whispered, "They told me you were gone. They told me your mom was dead." Amanda shook her head. "She's gone. But I'm here, and I found you." The other man stood back, watching, overwhelmed. 4 days later, that homeless man sat on a hospital bed. Clean clothes, shaved face, warm food in his belly, and a name back in his mouth. Benedict Thompson, Amanda's father. The doctors said his memory had been blocked by trauma. His mind had shut down after he and his wife were poisoned on their way back from a trip. Only he survived, but with no memory of who he was, no memory of Amanda, no memory of home, until that moment at the airport. Amanda had brought him back. The man who helped Amanda paid for their hotel stay. "Rest, eat, and heal," he told Benedict. "You've got a second chance." Amanda hugged him tight. "Thank you for bringing my dad back." He smiled. "No, Amanda, you brought him back." Back at Pamela's house, music played loudly. Balloons floated in the air. It was her birthday. She wore gold earrings, expensive perfume, and a proud smile. Then, the front door opened, and everything stopped. Amanda stood there, clean, calm, and taller than before. Beside her stood the man who had helped her. Pamela's wine glass dropped to the floor and shattered. "What are you doing here?" she whispered, face pale. Amanda smiled sweetly. "I came back, but not to beg. I came to show everyone who you really are." "You're bluffing," Pamela said, shaking her head. "You have nothing." Then the second door opened, and out walked Benedict Thompson, strong, tall, and very much alive. Pamela gasped. She stumbled back. You're dead," she cried. "You can't be here." But he stepped forward and said calmly, "Oh, I'm here, and we're not done." He looked around at the party guests. "Let's continue this conversation." In court, the courtroom was packed. People filled every seat. Reporters stood in the back with cameras ready. Whispers filled the air like buzzing bees. Pamela sat in the defendant's chair, handcuffed. Head lowered, face pale under the bright courtroom lights. Once, she had been the proud queen of the house. Now, she looked like someone who had been caught stealing peace. Across from her, Amanda sat beside her father, Benedict Thompson. No longer broken, no longer homeless. He wore a gray suit and a calm, powerful expression. When the judge entered, the room fell silent. "This court is now in session." The judge turned to Benedict. "Mr. Thompson, you may speak." Benedict stood. His voice was low but sharp. "I lost nearly a year of my life, but now I remember everything." He looked directly at Pamela. "You lived in our home. You ate from our table. My wife trusted you. But behind her back, you were plotting to replace her." Gasps echoed around the room. "You poisoned us both," Benedict said. "Only I survived. But I lost my memory. I wandered the streets like a ghost, while you wore gold and told the world we were dead." Pamela's lips trembled. "I didn't mean to kill her," she said. "It was an accident. I just wanted you." "I thought we could be a family," Benedict scoffed. "You wanted a family? So you made my daughter homeless?" "A child? You left her to starve, walk barefoot, beg for food for 90 days? Pamela shook her head. "No one believed me. I panicked. But the judge held up his hand. "Enough." He turned to Amanda. "Amanda, would you like to say something?" Amanda stood. She was small, but her voice carried like thunder. "For 90 days I walked. I begged, I cried. I picked up a stone every day and put it in this bag." She held up the plastic bag. The stones inside clinked softly. "When I reached the airport, they wouldn't let me in because I looked like trash. But I kept going." She turned toward Pamela. "You said the airport swallowed my parents. You told me they were gone. But you were lying. You knew where he was. You made me believe I was alone." Tears filled Amanda's eyes. "I found my dad because I didn't give up. But I could have died. And you were throwing birthday parties." The courtroom was still. Even the judge had to take off his glasses and wipe his eyes. Then the man who had helped Amanda stood up. He was now wearing a sharp black suit. "I'm proud to represent the Thompsons," he said. "Because this little girl didn't just survive. She exposed the truth. She brought her father back from the shadows. She reminded all of us what love looks like." People clapped. The judge pounded the gavel once. "This court has heard enough." He turned to Pamela. "For attempted murder, child abandonment, and obstruction of justice, you are hereby sentenced to life in prison." Pamela cried out, "Please." It was the devil. No one looked at her. Amanda and Benedict stood, holding hands, as Pamela was led away in handcuffs. Outside the courthouse, cameras flashed. Crowds were waiting. Someone shouted, "That's the girl who found her dad." Another voice yelled, "Amanda for president." Amanda smiled. She didn't want fame. She didn't want attention. She just wanted one thing: peace. Her father knelt beside her. "Thank you for not giving up on me." Amanda looked at him, eyes soft with love. "You're my dad. I never stopped believing." He kissed her forehead. They walked down the courthouse steps together, not as a broken family, but as a new one, rebuilt by courage. The next morning, Amanda woke up to sunlight streaming through a hotel window. For the first time in 100 days, she was in a real bed. A soft pillow, clean sheets, a warm blanket, and her father, Benedict, was just a few feet away, sleeping peacefully for the first time in months. Amanda sat up quietly. She looked at the plastic bag beside her bed, the same one she had carried every day. It was worn, faded, heavy. Inside it were 120 stones, each one a day, each one a memory. She unzipped it and spilled the stones gently onto the bed. They made a soft clicking sound. Some were jagged, some smooth. One was shaped like a heart. She ran her fingers over them one by one. Day 1, the night she was thrown out. Day 14, her first night in the rain. Day 30, the blood on her feet. Day 45, the pink sandals. Day 90, the airport gate. Day 120, today. Amanda smiled softly. She didn't cry. She turned to her father. "I'm ready," she said. Later that afternoon, Amanda and Benedict walked back to the airport. Not to chase a ghost, but to bury the pain. They stood near a small patch of grass beside the sidewalk. Amanda knelt down. She dug a shallow hole with her hands. Then, one by one, she placed each stone into the earth. Not to forget, but to let go. When the last stone dropped in, she covered the hole gently and whispered, "These were my battles. But I survived them all. Benedict placed his hand on her shoulder. "I'm proud of you." Amanda stood and took a deep breath. From that day forward, their life slowly rebuilt itself. They moved into a small apartment with a view of the city. Benedict found work at a local mechanic shop. Amanda started school again. She still carried the teddy bear. Not because she needed it to survive, but because it reminded her of the girl who did. Sometimes, she would walk past that airport with her dad, holding his hand, and she'd smile, knowing it no longer scared her. She had faced it. She had found her truth. She had won. Besties, wasn't that a powerful journey? Amanda walked 120 days barefoot, through hunger, shame, and fear, because she believed in love. She didn't give up, not when she was mocked, not when she was turned away, not even when the world told her she was invisible. And because of that, she found her father. She exposed a lie. She healed a wound that many thought could never be touched. Never let the world tell you what you're worth. Even if your journey is long and painful, every step can lead you home. And even if you carry stones, make them your story, not your shame. What part of Amanda's story touched you the most? Was there a moment that reminded you of your own life or someone you know? Comment below and tell us what you felt. If this story moved you, rate it from 1 to 10 in the comments. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to this channel for more powerful stories like this. Thank you for staying until the end. May you walk your own journey with courage and find your truth, just like Amanda did. See you in the next story, besties. Stay kind, stay strong, and keep believing.